just wanna be free with my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution. The time is now. I just wanna be free. 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 Can't you see? I just wanna be free.
Okay. Another episode of the Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast. I'm your host, Kamille Smith. Y'all are very lucky today. Y'all lucky. I love y'all. Because woo! It's been one heck of a day. Um, First things first. This week, beginning of April, a lot of positivity and things came true. I tried to prank folks on April Fool's Day. I'm sorry if you got. I was doing pranks about CRA. That was the only thing I could think of. And yes, I did it after the time, but I don't care because I don't follow the rules when it comes to April Fools. But yeah, the week was positive. I had two webinars like back to back, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I was so motivated with the group. I was talking with the um arts entrepreneurs, and it was a really great feeling. So, I was pumped and I'm excited for what's gonna happen in the future. And then it's tax season and all that great stuff. And then yesterday happened. And if anyone knows, my mom passed 3 years ago, and I was just blah, a mess for the most part. But for whoever, checked up on me or who's gonna check up on me, thank you. I appreciate it. I did something kind of special. I bought a wine that she would have loved. So, and I got approval from others that know their wine. So, boom, bam, bam. But it was just a day, and then that time of the month came. So, I'm feeling crappy, y'all. So, bear with me. I'm gonna do this real quick. But also, oh, but I also want to talk about what's going to happen on Monday, the solar eclipse. I don't know what time this solar eclipse is happening, but please, folks, if you're gonna go to Niagara Falls or Kingston or whatever, make sure you have the glasses. And if you're outdoors, make don't look up, especially if you're driving. Don't be on the 401 and look up, and then all of a sudden you can't see nothing, right? That's the worst thing that would be able that would happen. And I don't want that to happen to anyone. So definitely want to just give a reminder about that. And also, it's definitely not what I want to do. What was the other thing? I wanted to have this discussion with one of my friends. Big up Shayna. She gave me the idea of this episode. And you know what? I'm gonna say I was going to be a straight hater. I was going to hate. I was gonna be like, this don't make no sense. However, once I thought of the title, I was like, you know what? I can't hate on it because your ticket to financial stability in a roller coaster economy, it made sense why folks would want a GIC. So for the folks that don't know what a GIC, hold on, I'm gonna have to type up the things there. GIC is a fixed income, which is one of the safest things you could do, right? When it comes to investing. And I'm pretty sure there's folks that are from the Caribbean that are accustomed to this one, right? The guaranteed investment certificates. So it's just So if you think about the way to get into investing, or just the way to save and think about your retirement, there's cash, there's GICs, there's ETFs, there's stocks, there's preferred shares. I want to talk about the safest one, right? Just in case there are some folks that have never invested and they're so scared to get in the stock market, even though the stock market, it's always the best time to get into the stock market. And but legit, I was gonna be the person that was gonna like be it was gonna be like pros and cons, not pros and cons, sorry, the one that opposed it and the one that's for it. I decided I'm gonna do both, right? Because I still want to educate everyone about certain things, and I think if you're still scared to get into the stock market, even though, hold on, I'm gonna check to see how well the stock market did this week. Oh, also, sorry, before I get into this, whoever is going to be at frequency event promotions event, I will see you there. Make sure you have your dancing shoes on. But it's mostly networking. I'm just gonna network. If you see how I'm looking right now, um, I'm 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 just going there to support, and I'm probably not going to be dancing up a storm because I don't feel like it right now. I'm going there to support and all that great stuff. But when it comes to looking at, make sure I have open up the right one because I have so many things open right now. So just to show you guys, the S&P. Yes. So the S&P 500 yesterday went up 1%, and year to date from January to now, it's gone up 10%. At least, sorry, I'm rounding it up. 9.73%. But if we want to look at the one that I always mention to think about, because this is more affordable, it went up 1% yesterday, and it's 9.68%. And if you, this is for Americans, I find it that this is cheaper to get than the Canadian one. But if you want to look at the Canadian one as well, um, it's 125. You do the math to see which one's cheaper, but that's just my opinion. So, oh look, oh shucks, 11%, 11.88. Damn. So now you're wondering, why am I always talking about that? Because I just think it's consistently going up, and you'll always understand why it's okay to go into the stock market. But there's going to be folks that are not, are afraid to look at the stock market. But before I even, so this is Rate Hub. I'm not sponsoring anyone. This is actually another place that I usually look for things to get. And so this is going to be for the folks that are wondering, oh, where can I go to get GICs? Obviously, your financial institution, but let's go first go based on, like, if you only have cash, there's 0%. You're not getting any interest. And if you remember what the inflation is right now, it's freaking like 5%. You're always going to be losing if you only use cash, right? However, if you have a high interest, so let's think about the high interest as well. I'm going to do it in like segments on why you should consider certain ones. Okay, so it's showing that. I don't want to show that just yet. Let's go with banking. There, boom. So now I'm going to compare the savings accounts, because remember, there are high interest savings account, TFSA, RSP, and I've mentioned this in that episode of the different types of um, stocks or investment accounts that you would want to choose. Try to find with all these dang windows. I have so many windows open because it is tax season. I'm trying to, Um, boom, there it is. So now this. So I really like ratehub.ca because it helps me decipher which ones to choose. So as you can see, I'm not sponsoring them, but these are different ones that you could think about. So there's 4%, 5%, 3.4, 4%. But there's always reasons to that, or it's only good for 6 months and stuff. So see, the first year is 4%. Good thing about this is there's zero minimum balance. Kuho, it's 5%, zero minimum balance. Neo, I heard, is a really good one. If you remember when Moreland was on, he spoke about that. That's 4%. So these are like these are pretty decent with the savings account. Oh, but then we come to Scotia Bank. Okay, right? So here's where I'm very wary about these type of things, right? So it's 6.5%, right? But after 150 days, it goes down to 1.40. If you guys remember when I talk about the rule of 72, you realize that after a while, like 150 days, that's like less than a half a year, you better maximize on this, right? And me, I would just switch it after, but hey, that's just me. This is just educational purposes at the moment. And then we look at CIBC, and they have a savings account for 5.75%, right? Or if we look at RBC, it's 1.70. So these are what normally people are used to, right? They are giving you peanuts when it comes to savings. Trash, 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 trash. So that's why whenever you hear folks talk on, like, whether it's me or Earn Your Leisure, or Wayne Harris. I was watching Dr. Vibe mornings with Dr. Vibe and Wayne Harris yesterday. Savings is not the way to go when you want to generate wealth, right? So now you're wondering, okay, so what's so good about GICs? Well, let me pause this first. So GICs, and I'm gonna go based on the terminology. Again, it's guaranteed investment certificates. I did. Mhm. So I just want to give you guys the book word for it, right? So, well, it says it in the name, literally. But mostly this is a guaranteed amount getting back in return, right? So let's say you put in $1,000 and then you want 5% back, because that right now is the ideal rate for them. I'll show them. You're only getting $50 back, okay? But you're guaranteed the interest of $50 in that, and that's 5%. It really cringes when I say that, because like I've mentioned before, in many investments that I have, I've gotten back more than 5%, but I've also lost more than 5%. So that is one reason why some folks would want to consider this. Okay, so if you really want to take in consideration on why this makes sense, if you're actually thinking about a short investment horizon, then GICs is for you, right? Uh, C's for short. GICs are for you. So let's say, I'm not talking about 20, 30 odd years. If you're doing this with 20, 30 odd years, politely, I'm want to, sit down with you and like book an appointment, sit down with you and see why you would think GICs is more ideal for you when there's other avenues where you can actually make more, right? But I understand the fear and all that great stuff. So a short term, um, gosh, I spelled it wrong. No, actually, it's good. Short term horizon is saving for a down payment, and planning on buying a home within the next 5 years or less, I would say it better be 2 years or less, but whatever. Setting aside money to pay an upcoming wedding, for those people that are getting married. A parent whose child is in high school and you're looking to provide them with some financial support as they head to college or university. I guess this is for the folks that haven't been able to um, get a RESP. And I would say, please, please, please really think of that. Planning to make a big purchase, a car in the near future by a set date, close to retirement, and will need access to significant amount of your investments in cash. So these are the reasons why you would think about that. Um, but I mean, there's other avenues. I promise. I promise. So again, it is a financial product that will give you a guaranteed return when you invest your money for a set date. So that set term. So that's a GIC. There are short term ones and there are long term ones. I believe the only ones I've seen is 5%. And how to choose a GIC? This is some questions you may ask yourself, right? And I hope you do ask these questions. How soon will I need how soon will you need your money? Okay, so you want to think of that like I think I can hold off for like a year or so. And this is for folks that aren't gonna touch this money because you can't. Once it's in, it's locked, pretty much locked. How risk averse are you? Another question that you'd always ask yourself, and this is for the folks that they're like, okay, well, I'm not in the stock market because I'm very scared of how it's going. So this is something for the folks that are more that can't tolerate risk. So it's cool. It's more security for you. Other things about that. Um, so here, this is when we're gonna go back to Rate Hub and see what the how long the terms are for this. Hold on, going back. Okay, so I'm seeing ones for 1 year. Voila. For the folks that are listening, this is how I usually do. So bear with me. Okay. So again, when you go on ratehub.ca, you just basically want to know choose the one that works best for you. And I would say if we're talking about GICs, I want a low risk return. So this is for the folks that they want guarantee money coming back. They can't handle um Tesla coming out of the top seven of the S&P 500. They can't handle that Apple is going down since the starting of the year. It's okay. I understand. So these are the ones that you're gonna see, right? So this is 1 year. So it's ranging from 5.5% to 5.5. Sorry, what did I say? 5.15% to 5.5%, right? And if you really want to, so however, there are smaller ones. So if you have like something happening in 3 months, you have a 90-day one, there's 1 year, and there's up to 5 years. So let's look at the 90-day one. So this is for the folks that there's something's coming up in 3 months from now, and I'm gonna be realistic because I think if your balance is $5,000, there's no reason why you should get a GIC. You should be looking at the stock market. So this is gonna be for the folks that are a little cost conscious as well. But so EQ Bank has a 90 days one and it's for 3.75%. So you're going to be getting $9 return with $1,000 investment, right? I'm really trying to sell it to get a GIC if this is what you're comfortable with, right? I really want you guys to be comfortable with this, right? but I can't even just with 3.75. I understand. If it's I don't remember. I am not sponsoring any of these folks. I don't know this company. I'm just showing you guys examples. So 2.7% with $1,000, you'll get $7 Tangerine, they're 1.5 and they're giving you $4 after your Shane, I really wish we could have debated this because there's no way. There's no way I would do this. Oh, this one is minimum of $1. Okay, so there is a minimum investment, and we already know. So, ooh, see, this is really important. So there's certain companies that their minimum investment is 1,000. Theirs is 500. EQ Banks is a minimum of 100. I wonder if Simply's here because I do have account with Simply, and if them have something, then I'll definitely recommend that. But um but there's a difference between non-registered GICs and so the non-registered GICs is considered a personal investment account and doesn't come with any government tax advantages. So if you remember my previous episode like a couple months, like 6 months ago, where I was talking about different types of accounts. So it's similar to a savings account. So whatever money that you receive, you're probably going to get a tax slip about the amount that you received in interest because that is income that you're getting. But if it's a registered account, it can go into your TFSA or RSPs or even what's the other? The first home savings account, right? So this is for the folks that want to do something quick, fast in 90 days. Then there's the ones that is a year. This is for someone that's more still short term, in my opinion, but not as bad. And again, I'm going to go back to $1,000 because this is for folks that are probably still too scared to get into the stock market, right? So for the folks, as you see, EQ Bank is a winner. Um, $54 return within a year. Okay, cool. But you have to put in at least $100 for them. Uh, this account, I don't know. I'm not gonna root for them. And then you have Tangerine. The minimum investment is $1, and you'll be able to get $52 back for 5.20. So hey, these are good. And if you look, anyone that is watching, or sorry, anyone that is listening on Spotify, you are not going to be able to get this exclusiveness. So as you can see, in January 1st, 2018, that was the amount that it was going for GIC rates. I'm not saying it because I want you guys to come to YouTube, but the lowest it went, oh shucks, in September 1st, 2020, obviously because of the pandemic. That's how low it was. So if anyone remembers, I think when Tangerine just opened up, ING Direct, um, they were like broadcasting 3%, 3%. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. But if anyone remembers, like obviously when the inflation goes down, the interest rates goes down as well. So I actually seen GICs at this rate, and I was like, golly, this sucks. Like, this person has to wait a year, 3 years or so just to get out of this because it's locked in, right? So, normally I wouldn't recommend a GIC because of this rate. But anyone that obviously it's gone up, price gone up, interest has got the rates have gone up. Even your best bet was getting something November 1st of last year. That was the best I seen it. So for anyone that was able to receive something like that, kudos to you. And then I want to do the there's other ones. So I'm not going to do them all, but I want to show for folks that want I want to say 3 years. 5 years is a heavy commitment for a GIC. So let's say 3 years, you get 4.8 So you're going to be returning with $151. Um, this is reasonable for some folks. They at least know that no matter what, their money's not going to go down. And if you have Tangerine, you'll be getting $109 with 3.5. So honestly, oh wait, there's comments. So I couldn't see the comments, y'all. Hold on. Okay. What up, Camille? Okay. So I found sites like okay. I found sites like Rate Hub have a limited list of GICs. If you work with a certified financial planner, they might have access to large varieties. That's true. That's true because but remember with a CFP, they literally are going sorry, not a CFP because I was thinking of a broker. CFPs will be able to search for the better option for folks, but I literally seen a 0.35% um rate, but this was like 2022, just before the rate started going up, so I guess it makes sense. What else did you write? Then Scotia bought Tangerine. They couldn't offer the good stuff anymore, so simply for the resource. um true. I actually liked when Simply was called PC Financial, but whatever. Ain't no biggie to me because the IBC is still supporting it. But yes, you're absolutely right. Um, you can go to any financial institution to get a GIC, but now let's see what the pros and cons are. And I know I've been screwing my face enough to see what what the pros and cons are, but it does help certain people, right? I'm not gonna say oh, but well, if you're okay with GICs, then go for it, right? But if your risk tolerance is higher, then go for ETFs, stock markets. But I am gonna talk about that after. So I don't want to dog up GICs just yet, but um the pros and cons with that. So the pros. Let's go with the pros first, because I know you guys been seeing my face, whoever's been watching, and you're like, "Wow, Cam really doesn't like this." It's not that. It just doesn't make sense to me right now. But I do understand folks that it benefits, right? So advantages of GICs: it's safe, it's reliable in investment. If you don't want to risk any of your money, if you can't handle when the stock market goes down like 5-10%, then by all means, diversify some of your diversify your risk tolerance or risk in your portfolio with a GIC. You do have options. That's a good thing. There are options. There's different terms and interest rates. I showed you. If you're listening, you must come to YouTube. There's fixed term and interest, so you'll know exactly what your GICs will expire and how much interest you'll be earning at the end of the term. Sometimes Gary, like knowing how much money you're getting is actually a good thing, right? It is insured, so GICs are insured up to 100,000 by the Canadian Deposit Insurance Corporation (CDIC), and you're avoiding markets going up and down regardless of what's going on in the market. GICs remain consistent. It's available in tax sheltered accounts, so you can get GICs in TFSA, RSP. I want to say RESPs as well, of course, and other tax sheltered accounts. Easy to understand. So it's literally straightforward. You put in $1,000, you get $50 back if it's 5%. If it's 5%, right? If you put in $500, you're getting $25 back. Boom, bam, bam. You know what you're getting. It's not rocket science, right? So that's one way. However, however, there are disadvantages. Hold on, there's comments as well. It's in the exactly right. So, oh yeah, sorry. And you know what? I should mention it. Thank you, Camille, for mentioning this. And Camille, Camille with a C. I'm gonna say that Camille with a C. Um, the RDSP as well are able to have the GICs. I don't know why I stumbled for a second. Jeez Louise. But yes, thank you for mentioning that. It's very important to know like the options of different accounts, right? But the disadvantages, because this would have been me like just stating these. Hmm, hmm. Let's save this. Boom. So the disadvantages are, hmm, 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 hmm. And again, for the folks that can tolerate, because remember the first advantage for this was it was safe and reliable. So if you can handle risk, this is where it becomes a disadvantage, right? So it's locked in money. So once your money's in a GIC, you can't access it until the term is up. So in any case, you might be able to break the term early, but you could face penalty. And who wants to face penalty on, like, let's say, saving up $1,000, right? It's fully taxable. Unlike capital gains and dividends, interest income is fully taxable in the year it was earned, unless you hold it in a GIC in a tax secured account, aka TFSA or RSP. So remember that amount. So that $1,000 becomes 1,005. Wow, did I say? Oh yeah, 1,050. That amount will be taxed. Low returns. While GICs are safe, the return is very low compared to any kinds of investments. Oppor- this is the one I'm talking about. Opportunity cost. By having your money locked into GIC, you might lose out on other lucrative investments. So, like I just showed you what the S&P 500. If you're watching on YouTube, it's gone up since this year. It's gone up at least 10%, 10 to 11%, depending on which stock you have, right? And that's the S&P 500. So it's a catch 22. It's either you want to have that guaranteed amount and you're okay with that risk, but you're missing out on opportunities of getting great returns. Remember, if you remember the rule of 72, that 5%, it doubles. Sorry, that five. My thing messed up. Hold on. It doubles every 14 years, 14.4 years. If you're doing the rule of 72 and have something that's 5%. So you want to think of that minimum amount. So when it comes to the stock market, you could put $50 in. You could put $10 in. You could put 25, 50. Um, I always tell folks to have like a dollar cost average type of aspect, or have the habit the same way that you love to save, that you save every time you have your paycheck. Start investing like that, like putting in an amount every time you get paid into your investments. However, the minimum amount often GICs is normally 500 or 1,000 depending on the institution. But you saw Tangerine had the option of $1. I'm going to be polite. Anyone that puts in $1 to get a GIC, I'm going to be very aggressive with you, and we can book an appointment and sit down on why you decided to put $1 in a GIC and what was your expectations. Okay, it won't beat inflation. That's one of the other disadvantages. The rate of returns on GICs rarely outperform inflation, and that means you're losing purchasing power because your money isn't growing at the same time as inflation. And right now, inflation, hold on. How much is inflation right now? What is inflation at today? Rate today. The heck? Around. Hmm. Interesting. So it's gone down to 3. I don't think that's true. But hey, that's the forecast. Consumer price inflation should be 3.3 in 2024. That's not what it is right now. Let's go to the Bank of Canada. Wow. Oh, okay. Annual inflation right now is 2.8. Okay, that's good. So right now it is beating it. However, if that's the case, the interest rates are gonna start going down, right? So those are the disadvantages of GICs. I mean, damn if you do, damn if you don't. I have more comments. I do not know how to pronounce that person's name. So having available, yeah, yeah, like having cash and GICs, just overall, diversifying your portfolio is ideal, but mm, mm, the low amount to invest in GICs are good to test out the experience. That's true, but you could also do the experience at like Investopedia and see. But it's always a different case when you're actually using your money. So once again, for 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 retirees, it might be ideal, or for new investors that really can't handle um, this type of thing. Mm. Or, you know what? I'm going to say this. If you don't want to be tempted to spend money, this is for you. This is another way so that you'll be able to put that cash away, and you know that you're going to be getting a couple a couple bucks in whether it's 90 days, whether it's a year, whether it's 3 years, right? Also, it makes sense if you don't want to lose any money or take investment risk. Obviously, that's the pros and cons again. You want a portion of your money in fixed income. This one's very interesting because with fixed income, there's GICs, there's bonds, and there's preferred shares. I would suggest for folks to take a look, or we can book an appointment and see which one works for you, whether GICs, bonds, or preferred shares work for you, because it is a different ball game, and this is just getting more knowledge into the investment world. And bonds can also be ETFs. So if you're not comfortable with like going into stocks, then ETFs is for you too. And another one, if you're retired and you want a quicker return. So, like, young folks like myself, even though I'm young, but not that young, have plenty of time to handle how the market's going. But if you are about to get into like be a retiree, you don't have that luxury with time. I'm not saying you're not going to live till 100 and something, but you might have a better your heart might feel better when you have GICs set in there with also having stocks. So you want to balance. You want to have that balance. And money's going to be locked away anyway. So and unlike saving accounts, GIC rates are guaranteed. Because remember which one? Scotiabank or CIBC, it had 6.05 at for 150 days, and it goes back to 1.40. Who wants that? Hell no. Ew, yuck. Not I. So hey, maybe the GICs, but utilize everything that you have, right? There's high interest savings accounts that are ideal. There's GICs that are ideal for you. There's ETFs that are ideal. Bottom line, you want to have a diversified account, right? So what's the alternatives then? What is the alternatives then for GICs? Well, would you like to know? So again, again. There's stocks, there's ETFs, there's regular traditional savings accounts, but those are peanuts. There's a high interest savings account, peanuts. There's ETFs. I really suggest folks to look at ETFs just to see which ones are better for you. I did show SPLG. That's my nugget for the day. There's mutual funds, there's index funds, there's stocks, there's safe stocks, there's dividend stocks. There are um, value investing that you can do, and this is I'm just keeping it simple like there. I'm not gonna go to the other side or more advanced. I just want to the folks that are beginning to think of those stocks. Okay, so you want to think about, oh, maybe I can get a bond. There used to be a Canadian savings bond. I think it was more for like government type of jobs that they were really pushing that. But there are different bonds as well. So there's also ETFs, index funds, stocks. Really think about preferred shares, preferred shares. I really want you to think about preferred shares. Okay? And then also, yeah, those are that's just my theory about it. I really am trying to be proactive to GICs, right? It's really hard when I know how much you can get from other things, and with inflation, it's just crazy. But hey, um, for the folks that are beginners, for the retirees, or the folks that are really scared about investing, by all means, get into that and all that great stuff. And tips and tricks. Tips about um like Camille with a C said, look for your CFPs, your certified financial coaches, sorry, certified financial planners that are able to help you find like limitless options of GICs, because I think you really want to understand why you're getting it, the reasons why, and how you can tolerate it, right? So here's 5 tips. I always try to give you guys tips. Yeah, 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 it did. I know. My mom had that, so I just know. I was always like, well, why are you guys getting this GIC? But it's when you're accustomed to something, because I know it's in Jamaica too, fixed income, you're so accustomed to these things, like why not? Tips of GICs. So here's some tips and tricks. And then I'm out because I just want to rest a little bit more before I go to this event. Um, so basically you want to determine when you might need the money to invest. Yeah, that's the most important thing. You want to know, when do you want this money, okay? If you think it's going to happen, and if you're going to need something in less than a not less than a month, because there's only 30 days. So you want to know the timeline for this. Boom. Knowing the timeline is important. Like Camille with a C said, shop around. That's another one. You want to definitely shop around. Uh, you're gonna. I showed you guys like a couple institutions that have different rates. You definitely want to check out which one is best for you, and that's with knowing which term is ideal for you. Also, it's beneficial to form an opinion about the direction of interest rates. So you really, like, I just see the inflation rates, or so yeah, inflation rates is like going to be around 2.8. I thought it was still at 5, but who am I to judge? I've been popped down this whole day. Also build a GIC ladder, right? If you face an interest rate risk, you could plan to reinvest your GICs when it matures. So, or look for another option. But hey, sorry. Here's some tips. You can see which ones work for you. You could try it for 30 days to see if you like it. You could try it and just say, okay, you know what? I like this 30 days. Let me try a 90, a year, a 2, 3 year, and stuff. Um, Also, forming an opinion. Did it go? Oh, it didn't even do it. Sorry. It's beneficial to form an opinion about the direction. Boom, bam, bam. And then the last one is forming an opinion about the stock market direction is beneficial. So like seeing the odds, whether if or we're going to be going into recession or going downhill like it did in 2020 March, then maybe it is beneficial to grab a GIC just now because the interest rates are going to be a little bit different, right? But you want to be mindful. So you kind of have to like sit down with someone and just be able to understand what is best for you, right? So I mean, these are the tips of a GIC. Um, me, my take on it is if you are so scared to get into the stock market, please sit down with a person like myself. You can always book an appointment with me. Even though I'm doing taxes, I still have time to book like personal finance coaching. So here is my contact. Boom, bam, bam. I'll put it in the show notes. It's in the show notes already. So yeah, I'm going to be real quick. Sorry, I thought it was going to be quicker, but whatever. So make sure you like, comment. Thank you, Kamille with the C, for commenting, and make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend, especially for the folks that are really scared about getting into the stock market. If you aren't in the stock market right now, or if you're a type of person that they just want to diversify their portfolio, sit down. We can have a talk. I can't tell you what to pick. This is only educational purposes and knowledge, but I can guide you in the right path to do these investments. All right. So much love. Make sure you close your eyes when you see the solar eclipse and tell your strong friends. Check on your strong friends because you never know when they need it the most. All right. Peace out.
I just wanna be free with my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution. The time is now. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free.